And this is the base setup for Tuscan, which is obviously pretty great for a restaurant, right? As you look at this, it's just great.
Totally.
It's got the video right here. So this is another example, and these guys have a whole range. These dynamic guys have a whole range of different ones that they have. Like I think they have something called, you can type in it's like Johnson Bundle or something like that. Let me just see. Let's see, dynamic.
I'll also want to mention, sometimes you'll get clients that have requests that you think are going to be either a headache to do or are things that are outside of your skill set. All you need to do, let's say for instance you've got a client that wants this whizzy thing, let's say you've got a mortgage client that runs a mortgage company and they want to have a mortgage calculator on the site and you don't know how to make one. You just go to elance.com, post the exact job that you need done, find out what it's going to cost you, and then basically you put a markup on that, either double or triple whatever it's going to cost you, and that is what you quote the client.
And doing something like that is so powerful. And Mark, maybe one of the things that'd be a good value for people, because you and I did that amazing interview where I was interviewing you, and you talked a lot about outsourcing. If you'd like, I can provide that back for you, because that was just such a great
sure thing. Okay,
might be
so that'll
that might be
that'll
nice
therefore
bonus.
now be in the that'll be right next to this. You'll see it with this video, somewhere near this video in the download folder for this video. It should be near there.
Something very important is always make sure that the websites that you're working on have a responsive design. Responsive simply means that if you put it in your iPhone or Android or iPad, that it still looks good. So if I'm going to pull up, I'll switch back over to the regular.
Well, that's
view
a
for
good
me.
thing to say to pay-per-click clients. You could say, look, you're paying for all this pay-per-click traffic, but you're actually losing out because I noticed that you're not paying for pay-per-click on mobile devices, and that's because you don't have a mobile-friendly web page.
Devastating.
You know.
Yeah, there's so many markets with our health sites, Mark. 61%, like that Insanity versus P90X.org. 61% of people coming to that website are coming in off of a mobile device.
Right. So there you go. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'm just typing in. I'm going to pull up and just show what it looks like on my phone. Insanity versus P90X. Okay. So let's see here.
Thanks for sticking around on this, by the way. I know it's gone over time. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is wonderful. So can you see that at all on my phone?
Yep.
You can see it. Okay, great. And I'll switch over to
slightly blurred, but it's
so. This is yeah.
We just hold
it's a little weird with the lighting. Okay, but you can see it still looks great, right?
Yeah.
So this is a responsive theme. The opt-in is still right there where you want it.
Yeah.
You know, as you scroll down, the video still appears just like you want it. It looks great. Your site has to look great on mobile devices. This is also very important for SEO. More and more, Google's algorithm, if your site looks bad and people are hitting your site on their mobile devices and they're taking right off, then your overall rankings are going to go down, and your mobile rankings are going to go down. You don't want that. One of the things that you're able to do is market not just responsive web design, which I put here, but also mobile, phone, SEO, and pay-per-click. Okay, so keep that in mind, just like Mark just said. These 2 points go hand in hand together. I'll highlight both of them, just because they're really two ideas that very importantly go together. And by the way, there is very little difference doing SEO for a mobile phone. If you rank normally for something on Google, then typically your mobile rankings will be the same. However, more and more, if your site isn't responsive, if it doesn't look good on people's mobile phones and they're bouncing when they get to your site, if they just hate it and they're leaving right away, then Google can actually not only downgrade your mobile rankings but your entire overall rankings. Right. So keep that in mind. And it's also not as good. You'll have to pay more for pay-per-clicks as well, both because you won't get as much action on your pay-per-clicks, and you oh wait, I was talking about highlighting and I wasn't even showing my screen, was I? That's a little silly. So yeah, I highlighted responsive website design and mobile phone SEO, pay-per-clicks. You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. All righty. Well, we covered a lot of ground here. Mark, I know you're always inquisitive. You always have, you very often have more questions. So
I've been asking the questions as I've been going, which is cool. What sort of contracts do you get clients to sign? Like, what kind of things are important to put in there?
Okay, this is a great question. Of course, almost all your questions are great questions, or all of them. Okay, the number one thing with contracts is this:
yep.
that contracts are not important, but there is something that is important. So whether or not you have a contract, Greg has one customer that he's done over $1 million with, and they have no contract.
Cool.
Okay, but what they do have is an extremely clear agreement. Okay, so whether or not something is in a contract or not, I believe is particularly unimportant. Now, I'm not saying that I'm right about that. I'm not a lawyer, but in my business experience, that's not what's important. In my business experience, what's important is that you have an explicit agreement, ideally in emails that can be referred back to, where you say, this is what I'm doing for you. These are my expectations of you. These are your expectations of me. And talk to that person. And if you are going to have a contract, make sure that your plain English understanding of that contract is the same as their plain English understanding of that contract. Clarity is everything. When it comes to deal making, it's just so important. You are going to find sometimes you end up in a particularly good alliance. Mark, when you and I started today, it's very easy. We had never done one of these events as a hangout. No. So we just kind of work together, but we're friends. And we've worked together a lot in business, and even then we really try to be clear with our agreements going back and forth. We just try to be clear. It's just very important. Yeah. It's not a sign. It's not a sign of respect. Culturally, people can think that it's a sign of respect to be vague. It's not. It's not. It leads to ruin. Really. One of the things I loved. I mentioned that outsourcing video that you and I did. Well, it was a video about a lot of things that you do that you're successful with. But one of the things that you talked about is having a very clear understanding of what your employees and outsourcers are doing. Where you're able to track, what you've set them, what tasks you've set them to, and what they're ultimately accomplishing and how they're spending their time. That's very important to you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's important for so many things in life. Having clearly defined outcomes for all sorts of situations. Heck, if you were watching a movie and let's say that movie was all about a character and their journey to personal growth, you would get bored halfway through if that character did not have a clearly defined destination that they were hopefully trying to head to, which might be, say, like in Gladiator, where he had to destroy the emperor that killed his family or whatever. I think that's what happened.
I think so.
Yeah, or like in Battlestar Galactica, which was a TV series, they clearly defined.
I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying Battlestar Galactica.
Great,
yeah. It's very clear what's going on.
They're trying to get to Earth.
Yeah.
So
they're trying to get to Earth.
Sometimes things may change along the way. That's fine, but no matter what it is, if it's something you're engaged in, there's. I've probably gone off on the wrong tangent there with movies as the example. I'll give you an example of 10-pin bowling. If you don't have the pins there, then it is a much less interesting a game than if you do have them there. Like, you want to know what you're achieving.
Yeah. Well, playing a game with no rules. Notice how unsatisfying it is. If you think that you're playing, one person thinks you're playing baseball and the other person thinks that you're bowling, you're going to wind up in just a crazy situation, or cricket versus rugby or whatever. I mean, it just makes no sense. So what happens is, in business agreements, you really want to check and check and check. When Greg and I and David first started working together, one of the biggest things that we wanted to do is understand what each of our motivations were in doing it. Because the funny thing was, we knew we wanted to work together, but we didn't know whether we wanted to teach internet marketing together first or focus on going back in the into the relationship advice space. We decided to go ahead and go relationship advice space second, internet marketing training first with OMG. But we really got clear with each other on what we wanted to do. When you and I first met, The very first time I remember, I was promoting one of your launches. I just told you, I want to kill it for you. That's what I want to do. And that was my focus. And, that was great with you. And,
awesome.
and you helped me do that. Yeah. But you helped me do that, right? Like you helped me, you knew what I was trying to do. I was right on spot, with my things and so on.
Gotcha.
And when things get screwed up, so when expectations get screwed up, this is the number one thing. I'll explain this from one final standpoint. What causes medical malpractice lawsuits, which are a huge problem in America, is not the quality of care. Okay, you'd think it'd be the quality of care. So if somebody did a good job, they wouldn't get sued. If they did a bad job, they would get sued. That's what you would think would be normal. Yep. But it turns out that it's all about expectations. So if a doctor says that he's going to do A and instead he does B, he's going to get sued. That's basically what happens. Right. But if he says he's going to do A and he does A, even if A was a terrible thing to do, he is very unlikely to get sued. Because the customer knew. Like the customer knew. When people's expectations are violated, they get upset. I'll give you one final example.
So having a simple contract then, or it doesn't have to be signed, but at least, like you said, a simple agreement. Like you send them an email, they send an email back saying, yes, that's what I want. That's as long as it's simple, it's clear. That's ideal.
And it breeds respect. It really breeds respect with clients and customers, showing that you are looking to be clear and not looking to be vague. It breeds respect. Yeah. And it's going to lead to a much longer. Remember, we talked about this with Joe Marfolio. One of the things that he does is he says, I'm going to add 2 keywords and 2 videos every month. I'm going to set up your Facebook page. You're going to get 3 Facebook posts per month. You're going to get 3 Twitter, tweets a month or whatever, and 3 Google Plus things a month. And then what he says is, I'm going to give you a monthly report, and you're going to understand that. This is really, really critical, because what happens is, as the customer gets those monthly reports, they feel like Joe is doing what he said he was going to do. It feels valuable. They feel filled up inside. And it works great. And I want to point out that it's not 5% better that he does that. It's not 10% better. It's 2 sides of the coin. It's win or lose. Like if you don't do that, if you're vague, even if you're getting your customer great rankings, even if they've got customers, lining up out of the door, if they don't know what you're doing, they are going to feel like you're not valuable, like you're not doing much. They're just going to feel like whatever you're doing must not be important. It must be easy. Other people must be able to do it. You're not going to seem valuable. Whereas
that's half the problem sometimes with people that do any sort of service for you. If you don't know what's going on, so sorry to interrupt, but I honestly think it's really important that even when you do the work, always send reports back. Even if it's it should just be a habit. You send them that monthly report, brand it with your company logo, whatever. But send them something. Even if it's at the very worst, send them an email, set an alarm in your phone. Once a month you send that email, tell them what you did for them. Even though you think it might be obvious what you've done, you might have already communicated with it. You might have even emailed them, telling them about stuff. It's good that you just break it down once a month, give them the sum total of everything that you did for that, for that monthly payment.
Critical. It's critical. This is also another great lesson for affiliate marketing. This is, at your event, you asked people to talk about their businesses in Vegas. That was a terrific event. By the way you set up that event, and people loved that event. I mean, they loved it. Like, they raved about it. Oh, yeah, you're most welcome. It was an awesome event. I learned a lot out of it. And one of the things was you set the expectation very clearly for what was going on. We were going to share split test results. So everyone coming to Mark's event was like a top dog affiliate associated with the relationship advice space. There was a couple exceptions, but that is basically what was going on. And Mark let us know what the hours were going to be and what was going to be going on during the event, which is that generally if we had split test results from our business to share, and different moves that we were making in our business, then take 10, 15, 20 minutes, or in some cases longer, and talk about those things. And it lent a great structure to the event, and everyone knew what to expect. It wasn't confusing. It was enjoyable, and it really led to a wonderful event. And the funny thing is, the speech that I gave, what I was talking about is this same idea when it comes to affiliate marketing. I was talking about how important it is I believe if you can, to really future pace your customers and let them know. I mean, this is what makes a pre-launch work. You were talking about your son's birthday. That half of the value of your son's birthday, or most of the value, is the pre-launch, him looking forward to it, and you letting him know, hey, this is what's going to be happening. We're going to be having this party. This is what's going to be going on.
Just a side note for people who don't know what I'm talking about there. Basically, I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, at least at the time of recording this video, and Mike's running an event in April, which is the same month as my son's birthday, and I told him, well, I can probably go to it, but I want to be home in time for the lead up to my son's birthday. And he was like, well, what lead up? Don't you just turn up? And I was like, well, you kind of like to build it up. I said it's like a pre-launch, basically. You know, I mean, even if I'm not there right throughout the whole pre-launch, which will be going on for months beforehand, but even the week before, like